Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Shirt, man!
All right, episode 6 of Shirt Show. We're talking with Bruce from Printavo in Chicago. Let's go!
Shirt show!
Okay.
Hey, guy.
Gotta get my lighting. My house is a mess. I'm in the small one. We had a leak in a couple spots, so.
In the basement or what?
It's just in the roof. We're in a 3-flat downtown Chicago. We're on the top floor, and so the ceiling is right above in the roof. So, a couple spots, but there's progress.
Yeah, we have a couple overhead doors, and we've tried for years to try and get it sealed underneath. And so every time it rains, nearly every time it rains, it just comes in. And so if there's boxes down there,
Yeah.
ruined shirts. So we have like this plastic pallet that we keep a lot of the boxes off the floor. And yeah, one of those things. It's
Yeah.
bad. We fixed it kind of, but it still comes in.
There's a shop here in Chicago that had that problem where they, just leaked all through the water, and then there was a fire, then the sprinkler set off, and then that ruined everything.
Yeah, that's a drag for sure. So
My whole building's on 4-foot stilts, so it's completely off the ground.
So you're set no matter what.
Yeah.
He can
I just
take
have
that
the problem. I just have the problem of getting things in because everything has to be off a truck or forklifted. I have no ground access.
Oh, yeah, Dylan, that's funny. There's a couple shops we've seen here too that they actually blew out the back wall to get the forklift to go a little bit better.
Yeah. We had to do the same thing. We had to put in like a 10 by 10 roll up door just so that we could have the new equipment come in. That's like literally the only point of having this door was to bring the equipment in. So now it's
How do you get the shirts out? Like all the boxes?
we have like a loading dock on the end that we built that we put in. So UPS backs up and then they go out that way. But yeah, like anytime we get equipment, it's always like a hassle to get everything in.
sounds easier than our friends in Holland who have to
Yeah, dude, fucking
deliver by river,
by boat.
or canal.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's all.
And
That's
pray for
crazy.
no hurricanes or any bad weather.
right.
Yeah.
How you been?
Doing good, man. Yeah, it's been crazy. We've actually been really, really busy. It's interesting. I feel like some shops are way busier, doing fairly well compared to last year. Some are just like calling it quits. But it's been exciting. I mean, we had 3 people start Monday. So yeah, that's just getting everybody like super optimized as quick as possible it's a lot, but it's exciting.
You told me that on a phone call. It was yesterday or Monday. I can't remember. And which is the opposite advice. I gave advice to in-house. We were on a podcast with them.
Yeah.
They said, hey, we want to hire like maybe 3 or 4 people at the same time. I'm like, oh, I never do that. And so here you are telling me you did that. And I'm like, okay, well, what's your secret? Why did you do that?
I try to batch it. I purposely try to get more people together at once to get them started because I do a lot of the same things up front at the beginning anyway. So like the first week is the same for everybody, regardless of the role. Like we have HR stuff, we go through the basics, we're just like doing all the basics and the foundation, and then they are a part of the sales team. So they know, regardless of their customer service or we call it customer care or their success, they all go through the sales side and then they go in their own department. So if I can do that full week, and we take them to a shop too. So like just spending time there. So yeah, I try to batch that one.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense now that I think about it. So, yeah, if you have,
I feel like when we hire people, it's for a specific position in the shop. That's more like a manual labor thing. So, if you had to train 3 people on 3 different totally ends of the shop, like that would suck. But like Bruce is kind of putting them into the same training thing.
Yeah, I really want them. I want them to get it. Yeah, that first nobody. understands really the industry. I mean, we just hired a guy, Matt Marcotte, who is very familiar with the industry, but everybody else learned the space after. And I mean, you guys, that's a lot. Like the terminology, down to the little things, down to the people. Like we had some new team members who came on who's like very kind of corporate-y. And it's like, hey, whoa, like these people are like super cool, relaxed, you know, people used to hang out with. You go like when I see everybody, I'll grab them a hug, or, you know, this is not like going to an attorney's office or something.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
How do you go about hiring? Like, do you look for those characteristics first to see if they're like a fit for your culture, or is it more just like people that are qualified to do that exact job? I guess?
That's a great question. I had worked in a couple companies before that I felt they were just focused on pure growth and not on the people in there. And I was like, okay, I'm going full time on Printavo. So I worked on Printavo nights and weekends for like 5-6 years before going full time. And then when I did, I was just like, I've learned all these lessons from all these other companies that I want to either do or not do. And one of them was, it's a small company. I want to work with people that I like hanging out with, that I would like go get food with. So I spend that extra time because I think, especially being small, like having the people that I can rely on to execute stuff while I'm not there, like really builds and creates this like execution based team. Because I don't want to be stuck in like pure operational, like little minute details because people are tapping me on the shoulder. So we all as a company create those processes to help reduce that.
Yeah.
I like that. So during the interview process, do you go out to lunch or something like that, or meet and get coffee? Or is this after they're hired that you do that kind of thing?
No, we have a 2 to 3 step process. Actually, I do a first phone screen. We have an HR like consultant. Her name's Wendy Davids, and she will interview them separately. And then we bring them in and they meet the whole team that they're going to be working with. And it's not just me that makes the call. Like if somebody else is like, I didn't really think blah, blah, blah on this, then I'm like, okay, that's fine. But usually everybody's like, okay, that person, or yes, we all really like that. So it hasn't ever been fully split. But I'll tell you what, the second step is such a great screener. For some reason, when somebody outside of the company, Wendy in our case, interviews them, they are like disarmed and like they tell them stuff that they wouldn't tell me. And so we've been able to use that to be like, holy crap, that person is really strange. Or like, that's not, we don't like, I've heard some crazy stories where I was like, whoa, we don't want that.
So Wendy, this is an independent third party. It's a firm, like an HR firm, or just?
Yeah, she's B&H Partners. And she's awesome. We actually had her on for that COVID, like when all this stuff happened. She joined the program, so you can listen to her about her company's name is BHRS Partners. But anyway, she has just helped so much with that process. And whenever we have HR problems, I go to her. You know,
what do you do when you find a weirdo and you have to fire them?
So we've had to let go 3 people. I personally suck at firing. Like I just don't like it.
I don't think anybody likes it unless you're
yeah, but like it's such a thing where like you should have done it 3 months ago.
Always.
And like no matter how many times you know that, you're like, no, it's like a bad relationship, right? It's like, no, it's fine. She'll be fine.
Not you, it's me.
Exactly. Like, no, they didn't mean that. They don't really mean to say that, you know. And it's like, and then when you do it, you're like, what was I thinking? You know.
When you finally do it, you're like, what was I thinking? Why'd I wait so long?
Exactly. And your team knows that. So like, it's like everybody knows it, but nobody's kind of saying it because you're the boss.
Well, the thing about it is like even in the shop, like when you have to fire somebody, everybody else is always like, why, get rid of them, all this other stuff. But then you're like, all right, well, you fire them. And they're like, no, I don't want to. And it's like, yeah, it's the same thing for me, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to go up to this person and be like, hey, you know how you depend on this for your life? See ya. It's like nobody wants to do that.
I've only terminated one person on the spot. Everyone else was they're on probation, and so something's going on, and then there's how we do it here. There's a verbal discussion. If that doesn't work, then we write them up. And in that write-up, we talk about like this 30-day probation. So, here's what the problem is, and let's, during this next 30 days, work on that. And if we don't find a solution, and if we don't improve, or if you don't improve, then that can result in termination. And so they know that going into the 30 days. So they have opportunity. We have an opportunity to say, hey, maybe this is our fault, and we didn't train you enough, and they have an opportunity to say, oh, I really want to work here, and so I'm going to get it together and so that I don't get terminated. And then at that 30 days, then that's what I mean. That's the difference between like on the spot or after 30 days. And usually it improves. I would say maybe 70-80% of the time that it doesn't result in termination. So
that's smart. They say, somebody told me that when you let somebody go, it should be very clear that they knew that was going to happen, or else you didn't do a good job communicating expectations. So
it sounds like
that's what you do.
I mean,
it should not be a surprise. Exactly. Like, it's like they know that you're telling them this is not working out. I'm sorry.
Right.
Which that's really clear. I like the way that you did that.
Well, and it also, so if it's a type of thing where it's just, let's just say they're late, and it's in your employee handbook that you can only be late 3 times. If you just, without documenting it, and you terminate, then that's a unemployment issue. And so, but if you document it, then you have a case, and so it's difficult. I'm not very good at it either. Don't get me wrong. I've just done it a bunch of times and I hate it. It's the worst day. I sometimes have to leave. Like, that's it, and move on. And I have to just go home.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's necessary. If you want to improve your shop, then sometimes you just got to do it.
I don't know about you guys with this like HR and paperwork and stuff. I just hire some thugs with like an unmarked van and just be like, hey, this guy needs to go with you for a couple of days.
That's smart, Dylan. Yeah. It's going to work.
And they disappear. You don't do good work for me. You don't get to exist anymore. And then,
is that a New York thing?
Yeah. It's only here.
No more Pizza Fridays for you.
Yeah. And then I 300 kick them in the van.
Yeah, Spartans. Yeah, that's actually really good. And I mean, only having like a one person, that's awesome. I feel like we've been fortunate with only 3. Shoot, we've been really fortunate with the whole coronavirus stuff, I feel like, and lucky, and then on top of this.
I had one person on the spot. Like, there was an issue and they had to be terminated on the spot. And other people though are on probation, and then
okay.
I've only had to actually like fire one person. Everybody else has been like that hire, and you find out like a week later that they like just don't fit, and then they end up quitting. So
you're the lucky one.
I'm a lucky one, yeah.
Yeah, I've had a handful come for their first day, and then at lunch just not come back.
Dude, I had one. I had one that basically he said he had to put in his 2 weeks at another place because he wanted to work for us. So we ended up waiting 2 weeks to get him in there. And then he was like, hey, can I not be on the books for like this first week because I want to collect like another week unemployment or something? And it was just like, dude, this is sketchy already. And then he gets there and he's supposed to like clean screens, which is obviously like something nobody wants to do. And then he was there probably like an hour, and I went to lunch, and when I got back, all my guys were like laughing at me when I walked in the door. I'm like, what? They're like, he quit. And I was just like, oh my God, are you kidding me? They said that he said if I had to do this every day, I would kill myself. And I was just like, oh, cool.
Is that like the Glassdoor review?
And I was just like, what the hell? So I waited all this time for this dude, and then he left, and it was just so good.
That's ridiculous.
I was like, oh, cool, because all of us here have done it, and we feel the same way. So sorry.
Love
so
your
how did
shirt,
you?
by the way?
You like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my party shirt.
Party comfort shirt. What does it say in there?
What?
Really?
You have
Or what's the label?
Oh, it's
Got
Dixon
on there.
Yeah, it's custom upstate. Get them made overseas. So what made you want to do this? Like, do this whole software thing instead of? I guess you were printing before, right? Or you were working in a print place?
Yeah. So I went to school, University of Illinois in Champaign. So middle of nowhere, but Big Ten school, so a lot of students there. And then super into skateboarding, basically for my whole life up into there, and then started to get into like clothing and starting to make clothes and then sell them through different skate shops. And then the guy who was selling some of our stuff, he had screen print equipment just in his basement. He had like a little Riley Hopkins. And then he's like, hey, you just want to buy this because I'm not using it. And at the time, like Johnny Cupcakes was huge. The Hundreds was really big, like these big streetwear kind of skate brands. Mm-hmm. And we're like, wow, we could do really cool limited stuff. And so we bought it and put it in the back of his shop. It was like his shop in the front, a mini ramp, and then all this screen print equipment. It was so dirty and filthy. We had to like rip out this. He was like, you probably don't want carpet, so let's rip this out. And we're like, are you sure? We could just start learning and printing. And he's like, no, just trust me. Like, we're going to get crap all over the floor.
Shops that have carpet or rugs blow my mind.
I can't imagine. I mean, the tack and let alone the plastisol, but like, yeah, so we just bought it. And just like any other shop, we actually just started printing for the university, printing for Greek houses, clubs, event, all that stuff. And then we just needed some sort of software to help keep track of everything. And like, I felt the current solutions were just horrible. Like, it was like complex. Most of them weren't even cloud-based, either super expensive or there wasn't much. So started to just code it and just started to build it.
Now, were you doing that, or did you have somebody doing that for you?
At first I did. Did not do it myself. I had somebody else. That didn't work out. He wasn't that interested.
He said he had to do that every day. He'd kill himself.
Yeah, and left after the first day.
Yeah. So then I hired this guy in Eastern Europe, and I think I gave him like a couple of grand. And then he was like, hey man, I got to make my rent payments. Like, I'll get you some code and stuff back. So I gave him an advance, and then he was gone. He was like your guy that was trying to clean screens. And then he just literally disappeared, never heard from him again. So I was like, wow, that sucks. And then took a little bit of a break, and then I think it was really my dad that was like, are you going to like learn to code this stuff or not? He said it with a little more vulgarity, but
which I appreciate.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I am. And so I bought a coding book. It's called Ruby on Rails, is the language, and just started learning from there and started building stuff. But I had always been interested in design, so it kind of coupled together a little bit.
What was your major at U of I?
I double majored in business, so it was process management and information systems. So part of that helped a little bit, but really, I mean, it's just like learning, screen printing itself, right? You just like jump in randomly and start doing it. And then you do it for a long period of time, and then you get better. It's that whole 10,000 hour thing. Now, I'm not any sort of expert. Our engineering team now is like crazy good. But I just learned enough to be able to like build, iterate, build.
Right. But you got it going enough to get it started at least.
Yeah. And that was just like literally 5 years of, I would go, they have these co-working spaces. I would go at night and just be there until I was so tired, and then go home. sleep, go to work, come home, and then go back there at night again. And just, I enjoyed it. Like I have always loved building stuff. So
you went from printing some stuff to being like, oh, I need something to help me get organized, to staying late every night at a space to code this thing? Or you were like made a decision of like, I don't really want to print stuff. I want to make the software instead.
Yeah. Well, when we were getting to the end of college, I was like, I want to leave Champaign. I wanted to go up to Chicago. And the thing with like going to the College of Business there is that they kind of funnel you into this whole, okay, now go work for consulting or go do accounting or something like that, right? And so I was kind of a part of that funnel. And so I was like, okay, go work for consulting. And I did it for 11 months and then left to work for some startups and do some coding there. But when I left, I was like, well, I don't need this equipment. And I wanted to focus more on the software anyway. And so this guy in Iowa, I want to say, he came over and he just bought everything. So I was like, cool. So I didn't think much of it, although I do want to buy that stuff back one day. But we actually don't have an office right now because of everything. So,
do you have everybody working from home?
Yeah. So it's so funky. Our office lease ended April 1st. We were supposed to have a new office then and moved into it like a day later, right? But the lease, the lawyers doing their thing, didn't get the lease to us in time. And then in mid-March, everything really started to blow up, right? And so I told them, I was like, actually, we're just not going to have an office. And everybody was part remote anyway. Sorry, what did you say?
That's perfect. I mean, that was awesome, really. Actually, it's a blessing.
I did nothing. It just laid itself out.
Do you feel like, we were talking about this the other day at like a family event or whatever, and all these people that are actually finding out like they had to evolve to keep going with all this stuff, but they're actually finding out that those things that they evolved into are actually better than what they were doing before. Do you think like this might be something that's better for Printavo instead of having like do people actually have to come to your office, or can you just have everybody work from home and do the same amount of stuff?
That's a good question. I didn't know the answer until a week ago, actually. So we put everything into storage, right? Like all chairs and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I go in there the other day because somebody was asking for something that they forgot. And I open it up. And there's these cool banners that we got made. There's like things that we had on the shelves, celebrations that we had when we hit certain revenue markers and things. And I was like, there's a strong piece of the culture of the business here that you wouldn't know about unless you were around, like to see it and be a part of it. So at that, I was like, I think we need something small when everything settles down. And there's like, either a vaccine or something, but I think we'll need a space that people can come in and out of, kind of like a coffee shop type. And we always had about half the company was in and out, but just to like create that vibe, I don't know how, maybe I'm not, on it enough. Some companies do, like Zapier. Zapier is 100% remote. They're a big company.
Yeah. But, I mean, I agree. I agree with you to a point, because it's kind of like us, like, half of the fun of going to work every day is like seeing your friends and the people you work with and just like bullshitting with each other. So like, I agree with that, but like you're also going from before where you probably had the mindset of like one day, as a business owner, you're like, one day I'll have this massive office and stuff. And now you actually think about the numbers. You're like, you know what? It'd actually be cooler to downsize to, like you're saying, like coffee shop style, like a smaller place where people can come and go, but they can also come and talk to each other and hang out. It might have been better for you to have this happen and decide to go with a smaller space instead of like trying to get this massive space that you didn't necessarily need. But, there's a lot of commercial space and subleases that are popping up now too. So fortunately, that'll be better for us and for anybody that's looking for something small, because people are all thinking about doing the same thing. But do both of you guys have part of your teams at home, or are they all coming in? When this first started, I had a couple like the salespeople and like the art department people work from home, just because it was like The only way we could stay open and be essential is if, we had minimal staff in the shop to where they weren't next to each other. But I mean, we brought everybody back once they said it was okay. And I don't think it really mattered. They were getting paid the same either way. So, I mean, I like having everybody in the office just because I feel like more stuff gets done. But
yeah, we did a little work from home. We can only have our max gathering was 10 for a while there. And so we worked around that, and it was challenging, but I kind of agree with what you said, Dylan, is that this whole thing has made us better.
Yeah.
We've had time to rethink a lot of stuff. And so would I want to do it again? Probably. I don't know. As of right now, our sales aren't there, we're at 60%. So that's a bummer, but it's building. And I have a feeling that at some point, if it's 4 months, 6 months from now, maybe it's 2021 is where we have to wait and we'll be back to where we were. I hope so anyway. But if that's the case and we're back to where we were, we'll be better. We'll be a better company, more efficient and all that. Yeah. As you were saying that work from home, I was thinking, can we as screen printers work from home? So we could put a eco text at somebody's house, then we could somebody could put a press in their garage, and we could all separate all these things. I wonder if that would work. The designers can definitely work from home.
Yeah.
They would have to proof things like we could keep Zoom open all the time, or we could FaceTime proofing, I don't know. Maybe there's a way to do it if it comes to that. Yeah.
I think it depended on what kind of like niche market each shop was in, and it's like how they're doing right now. Like we're slammed. Like I don't even know if we would be this slammed in a normal year, because I feel like our market, like there's a lot of shops, like you said, like weeded out all the people who were undercutting and like living on the edge as far as like funds and all this stuff. And like, as soon as all this happened and we were still open, we were getting calls every day being like, hey, are you guys open? Because the other shop I was going to is closed. And we're like, yeah, we're open. And then now they send all their business to us. So like we have our normal business plus all these other people who are coming to us now. And just like every year we get a little bit bigger. So it's like, we're like I'm trying to hire people right now to fill positions. Like today, like I was out in the shop doing all these other things that I normally wouldn't do just because we need people. So I don't know. I feel like it depends on what market you're in, but yeah, I mean, it sucks to say like, I'm glad this happened because I'm not glad it happened, but I feel like a lot of people are learning how to grow their business without having all these extra things. It's like the old guard thing we were talking about when we were having, talking around dinner the other night. And it's kind of like, you think in your mind that you have to keep doing things a certain way because that's the way it's always been done. But now this happens and it's like, well, it lets people think outside the box. They don't have to think like the other, say it's a restaurant. They don't have to think like all the other restaurants. So like my buddy Dan, who owns like a taco place or whatever, he basically, because they could only have people eat outside, he had the thing where now you can go scan the QR code at the table outside and like the whole menu's on your phone. You order through your phone, you pay through your phone. And then there's just one waiter instead of like 10 that just like brings your food out to you and like sets it on the table and then leaves. So now he's like, I'm making way more money now than I ever was before because I have like half the staff doing the same amount of work. And like, he's like, I might keep this forever now. There's no point in having people just walking around when now people can do everything from their phone. It's like, yeah, you're losing out a little bit on like the wait staff, but realistically, if you're going somewhere for dinner, are you caring about the waitress or are you caring about the food? So
yeah, I know this pizza place that's pretty popular here, and they when it first happened, they put their entire dining room into a production for frozen pizzas, and they sold 40,000 frozen pizzas. And so they're like, hold on, we've never even thought about selling our stuff frozen before, and they were shipping it everywhere. And so now they have part of their business model is frozen pizza.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So,
what's nuts is there's actually a big restaurateur. He started that company Talk as well. His name's Nick Kokonoas or something. You can look him up, but he has a.
You made that up.
Yeah, I always stumble on his last name. It's like a Greek something. Just search Kokonoas. You'll find him. But anyway, I mean, he's also had never had higher sales now from just straight delivery. And he did the same thing, right? Converted the whole restaurant to delivery. Now, granted, he does have like a really cool branding niche of like, he's super high end, charges like $500 a plate normally and things. But now people get kind of a taste of that experience. But it does make you wonder, like, when you're talking about regenerating the business, I mean, will there be pop-ups of restaurants that just have no dining experience and are really good tasting food, but like optimized for delivery maybe and pickup? So it's super quick Jimmy John's type, but tastes incredible and healthy and all that. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
So, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Dylan, you're busier than ever. Bruce, you just hired 3 people. You're growing. Here we are. We're down. So I saw.
Yeah, I don't know. We're just lucky.
You had something on the earlier today. You posted about quoting which Printavo can do now, and you said that's going to help close sales. What did you mean?
Yeah. So one of the big things as we were building like a larger sales organization in Printavo, creating a really good repeatable sales process and then also enforcing follow-ups is like golden. I mean, sure, there's a lot of other things like discovering and doing a better discovery process and proper sales and all this stuff, but like follow-ups are just so big. And we realized that it's like we do 90% of the work. We helped the shop get started. Like we showed them what Printavo is about. We brought them to us. They're excited. They did all that stuff. And then we just forgot about it. And it wasn't purposely. It was just we were busy and we helped another shop that was asking for a demo and everything, right? But we did 90% of the way. And the last 10% was just following up maybe 7-8 times, right? Because it was just timing thing. So at least for us, customers like you guys, like you get busy, you slow down, you're doing 8 different things. And the follow-up was just checking in and something very personalized to that. So we helped create that more pipeline-based experience in Printavo. So you can create a couple statuses that's like, quote follow-up 1, quote follow-up 2, quote text reminder maybe.
Are those follow-ups automatic? Is it something?
Not yet, but actually, yeah. So you can automatically change the status and it will send a message, but it doesn't automatically change the status yet. It'll just send the message right now. The automation piece is actually coming in about a month. So we're really excited about that one because there's going to have unlimited triggers like, you see on a Monday or Asana type or Zapier where you can create these funnels. So we're really pumped about that. But like, it just helped create that process of make sure to follow up and move those dollars to each next bucket, right? And then out. When out would literally mean it's either won or it's lost. And if it's lost, then what would be the reason? Because if you're only, let's say you convert 20%, well, it's like, why? Imagine you converted 25% versus 20%. What effect that would have over a year, right? It's large. So that's what we wanted to try to help. And some shops have started using it and seeing some really great success. So we're pumped.
So let's say somebody sends a quote from here and you can set if you want to follow up in 3 days or in a week or whatever, you can choose that. Like there's details like that you can.
So it doesn't automatically send a message for you, but what it does is like each order has a status and you create it in quote status, but those statuses you customize as to however you'd like. That's your workflow. The second status could be quote follow up. The third status could be quote follow up 2, right? And now you visually see in quote, we have $5,000. In quote follow up 1, we have $50,000 and so on. Mm-hmm. And so that's what makes it really cool. To be able to help get those quotes moving down your pipeline and then out.
Cool. I like it.
Yeah.
Now, do you get a lot of the like ideas for how to grow Printavo from printers just being like, hey, why does this not exist yet? Or is it something you get?
Yeah. I mean, shop owners are super vocal about like what they find. I was just on 2 calls today with some larger shops about some feedback.
They're always nice about it.
Oh my gosh. Like I would say 99.9 whatever percent is super friendly and awesome. And yeah, I mean, we listen to that. Like the engineering team pumps out stuff every 2 weeks of people's feedback and stuff. But we have to like mend like what is verbally feedback and then where we think things are also going as far as the space changing, technology changing. Because sometimes you can just get a lot of feedback too of people that used a competitor, for example, which is like, we're not trying to copy a competitor. Anybody can just say clone that thing.
What do you guys have that's new that's coming out other than that?
Yeah, so I mean, automation is big, but the real big one is Power Scheduler. So to be able to really get into the nitty gritty with scheduling, it kind of molds like a Monday and Printavo together. So you
shut that dog up,
like,
I know. I'm going to strangle my dog in a second.
What do you see, a rabbit?
No, it's just like every time somebody walks by my house, the dog feels the need to act like it's strong. My dog is probably this big. So it's like, dude, just know your role and stop.
You ever see those memes where they like the guy at the gym that's like super wide and they walk around with the arms open and everything?
Yeah.
You just gotta.
I have this tiny dash hound that just thinks that she's so strong. Stop.
Protecting the family.
Yeah. Well,
she's just really excited about scheduling.
Yeah. Well, you said power scheduling, and she was like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it was.
Get in there.
You didn't need to add power in there. You were just like, this is cool.
Yeah. I mean, we're like, that is, I think it's just going to be so exciting because for shops that have multiple workflows, if you're doing screen printing and embroidery, for example, or you're doing finishing, or you want to measure the production efficiency, like this is the foundation to that. And it opens so many doors to understand how your business is truly running that we just don't really have much transparency on right now.
When's that being released?
So they're actually giving a demo next week at Printhouse Conf. So Thursday and Friday. So on Friday, around like 2 or 3-ish, we're giving a demo of what it's starting to look like. It's a huge change on the back end of how everything works. But the foundation, at least, we're going to tease that and start getting people on the beta.
So speaking of Print Hustlers Conf, I was there last year. It was awesome. Thanks for putting that on. And
heck yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah, well, this year I was invited to speak, and but of course, somewhere along the way, it's changed to this live. Tell me about it. I'm getting confused already trying to explain it.
Yeah, I mean, about 4 years ago, we were just sitting. It was 3 of us. We were sitting in this little WeWork. So like 10 by 10 WeWork, and we had 3-4 people in there, and we were just like, hey, we should just do a conference and get people to come in to learn, and like I'll bring in speakers and we can just help share other educational tips. So that's been a big component of Printavo, and we launched it. We did it. It was like, it took a couple months. We had about 30 people that came in, and we've just done it every single year. And last year it was about 200 people. And this year we were planning about 250 to 300. Last year, what's funny? Last year there was this lady that flew in that bought a new press from Nigeria to come and hang out at the conference.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa. I was like, first of all, how did you hear about us? And second of all, do they ship? Like, where's the distributor there? I'd love to be able to meet them. But yeah, I guess you just got a rock straight from Portugal. But anyway, so this year, we're doing it online, and it's 2 days, a couple hours each day. It's next Thursday and Friday, July 23rd and 24th. And Andy's going to be one of our speakers there, which we're really excited about.
I hope he shits the bed on that live chat so hard. I'm fucking betting on it.
Is that why you made that decision? No, I'm not going to leak it, but Andy's got a really cool, something really cool he's working on.
Me and a couple other printers have a pool going of how bad he's going to eat it.
I love that. Thanks for the support, man. You're a true friend.
Dude, that's what friends do.
It will. Yeah. Well, hey, then it'll make for even more popular.
Right. There's going to be so many people. Dude, the thing is, so many people are going to be watching not to learn from you, but to just watch you
fuck up.
Just fuck up so hard. Bruce is getting the numbers. He's like, man, there's so many people watching this. And they're all just like, eat it.
All right, Dylan, you're next year.
Yeah. I won't do live. I'm not crazy.
Oh, I hope we have a live one. I mean, not live, but in person.
Oh yeah, in person. So what was that?
I was supposed to go. I was all excited for this trip and all.
Oh,
that
heck
stuff.
yeah. Thanks for getting a ticket.
Dude, I got a ticket like first thing. You're like, hey, this is happening. I was like, all right, cool. Because I couldn't go last year because you had it when it was like my daughter's birthday. And I was like, well, I can't be that asshole, Dad.
July 20th?
Well, her birthday is the 13th. And I think just where it landed, I wouldn't have been able to go or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sure.
Well, shut up, baby. But anyway, like, it's just one of those things. Another thing in the year where it's like ISS or something where you kind of fall in the middle where it's like, all right, cool. Now it's time to go hang out with all these shops. And, you know, I had plans with like Matt from Relentless to like go to his place. And then we were going to drive down, stop at some shops, go to the conference, go to M&R, all these things. And it was just like, cool, that's canceled.
Yeah.
Well, it was like anything else. Like I had like 10 trips planned this year and they all got canceled. So
did you get your credits back or your dollars back?
Yeah, most events that I had bought stuff for. Luckily, I didn't buy any plane tickets yet, but almost
Southwest.
everything. Almost everything I had going either credited me back or said we're going to do it eventually, and you can just go then. But yeah, it's just is what it is. I mean, you can't complain too much because everybody's dealing with it. So
yeah. It's I mean, you know, part of it is the content and the people who try to bring it, but part of it, you're right. It's just literally hanging out with so many other different types of people from all over the place and mixing in alcohol. And then it's just awesome.
Yeah.
And, you know, you just get so many characters and like, it's great.
I feel like it's definitely unintentional, but it's like anytime you go to those events or anything like that, I feel like you go to be like, oh, I'm going to this event to learn this or to see this equipment or whatever. But I feel like as printers, we learn way more just being around other printers, like bullshitting in the street. You know, somebody be like, oh, I was doing this thing and then I used this. And you're like, wait, what did you use? And they're like, yeah, I used this. And they're like, oh, I never knew that. And then it just spirals into that. It's like the whole thing with this podcast and all that stuff is it's just like me and Andy just bullshit and riff on each other. And then people are like, oh, I didn't know that. Or I want to try that out or whatever. And it's like you, Bruce, with like Printavo stuff. And like, that's what I give you a lot of credit for. It's just like the content and like the education and stuff like that. And like YouTube, you guys for a while there were doing like a video a day.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, it was, I always keep saying I was recording literally every single day.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like for me, I'm like addicted to that stuff. Like I watch way more YouTube than I watch actual TV now. And I feel like every day it's like for a while there, I look forward to it. I'd get to the shop in the morning before anybody and like have like, you know, drink and breakfast or whatever. And I would just like watch, you know, your latest video or someone else's latest video or whatever. And then they slowed down. You're like me watching Game of Thrones, Bruce. Bring that shit back.
I think we have like like 2 or 3 a week now. Yeah.
What was that?
Awesome.
What was that like? Was it like you scheduled all those out and it was like a mad dash to get them done? Or
we have an awesome team that helps put a lot of that together. So like, I used to try to write, but I cannot write and or focus long enough to finish it. Yeah. So then I just started making videos, and then I set every morning like 30 minutes aside to talk about something or to shoot, I don't know, like anything, like interview somebody or bring somebody on. Now we try to have a cadence of weekly because like daily is really hard interviewing or like a topic. Like you're like, I don't even know what to cover. But so now we'll do weekly, and that's a little bit easier to bring. Like we just interviewed president at Sanmar. Jeremy's awesome. And just to keep that cadence. I mean, you guys know from doing the podcast, like so easy to start. It's hard, like 8 months in.
Yeah. I definitely think like once a week is good. Like, well, now I'm doing 2 a week. So, but even then it's still like, I feel like it's good to do that. Cause there are a lot of people that you see come out and they're like, oh, I'm going to do a daily vlog. And you're just like, all right, well, let's put money on how long this lasts. It's just like, dude, that's hard. Like, what if you had a bad night the night before? You're like, fuck, I got to do a video tomorrow. It's just like,
and it was also easier with being able to be at trade shows a lot. Mm-hmm. So, because then every trade show I would go to like 3-4 shops, and then would love to film like shop tours and do a podcast about something. And at each one, that's like 8 pieces of content, and that you can, push out. But no shop tours. So then it's, do
you have a guy there that does all the editing, or do you do it?
We have actually an intern. So we have an intern. She's studying video at a university nearby. So she chops it all up for us. We have somebody in-house though that like can write really well and creates a blog post from there. And then we just had another intern from the summer who helps handle social type stuff. So it's been really important. I think it's so important for any business. I've been big on that Gary V, content stuff, doing it just long term.
Yeah. I feel like that's my biggest struggle right now is like with my own one is I'll do it whenever I can, like whatever with the person. And I have to do them at night for me just because it's the best scheduling time and easiest for me to do it. But sometimes it's like, I'll actually get the interview with somebody at, like Monday night at 10 o'clock. And then we finish at like 12:30. And then I go to work the next day. And then Tuesday night, I'm like, all right, I have to edit this. And I probably spend like 4 or 5 hours to edit it.
Yeah.
Like what was it? Yeah. Last night I started at 7:30. I finished at 11:30 with the first edit. And then I had to come downstairs, record the video or the audio intro, do the thumbnails, upload everything. And I went to bed at 2.
Yep.
And then I launched it all. And then I wake up and I go to work the same time in the morning. And it's like, people don't realize it's like, yeah, you record a thing for like 2 hours and then you spend like 5 hours editing it. And then you put it out. It's like, dude, by the time you're done, you're like 10 hours in. And it's like,
there's a lot of interns. There's a ton of people that are super interested in the video that, you could help offload that. I mean, Andy, you did a lot of video, especially on Instagram. I mean, do you guys do content? Is it more of like for fun, or is it more to attract customers, or what do you think?
Well, for me, it was both. And then also, initially anyway, it was course for marketing and, but then it turned into, it was just healthy. Like for me, like a lot of when I wrote a caption or something, it organized thoughts. Like if I did something right, or if I did something wrong, or if I had a good day or a bad day, it helped me organize my thoughts. And so, I've gotten away from it a little bit because, well, a couple of things. We're much smaller now, even though we've added some people back. And so I find myself, like Dylan said earlier, I'm out on the floor, or I'm this morning I pulled tape off of a bunch of screens, and, and then also I don't know, I didn't feel like sharing for a while, with all of this. It's been kind of crazy. I've tried a few times and it was kind of good, but now listening to this, while you were talking about it and talking about blogging every day or posting every day, I was gonna be like, all right, I'm posting every day, and you can put money on it, just like with the pool.
Dude, I'm gonna run out of money. I'm gonna run out of money for all the shit I bet against you.
You're gonna lose. I'm going hard.
No, I'm gonna make it all back. It's a guaranteed win. It's just I have only so much money to put down.
I'm gonna bet.
All right, pull from retirement.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I call my accountant. It's like, oh, Andy's doing another fucking thing.
I said I wanted in cash.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna start putting up property.
No, but really, it was like because
it was awesome. I liked reading those.
Well, that's what drew a lot of people to. I mean, I'm going to talk about him while he's here. But that's what I feel like a lot of people appreciate and are drawn to ShireKong is just because of Andy's like, whiny rants at the end of the day. It's like watching The Bachelor.
I think that the videos too were super unique. Like there's never been a screen printing reality show or something, and that was maybe the closest that it got to it was like a cool minute, video with something underneath.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. The next thing.
He's definitely good at that. We've talked about that before where it always like, if you're in the shop, you're always like, oh, the drama of this would make a good reality show. But it's like, yeah, it'd be good for like a season and a half. And then people would be like, this is just the same shit over and over again.
Maybe a gift shop. Maybe an upstate.
Yeah. Well, we don't have as many failures as you, so it wouldn't make for good TV.
Not as much drama.
Yeah.
But so a couple of the people that are at Print Hustlers, I saw a guy. It's called EOS.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about him. What is he?
Yeah, Tom Power. So if you haven't heard of EOS, it's Entrepreneurial Operating System. It's that book Traction. We've been talking a lot about it. But basically, Traction is like it helps you create a business process. So if you feel stuck in your business for a long period of time and you don't know where things are going, you look kind of week by week, then this book is what I picked up. Did the audiobook, fell asleep like 4 times, and then got the real book. And it was
seems like
awesome.
It's the other way around.
Yeah.
Well, for the plane, I think it was just the plane rides, just going to so many like shows and like just going around doing stuff. Like I felt the audiobook was best use of time, but it puts you to sleep. It's so boring from an audio perspective.
Whose voice is it?
It's probably his.
Morgan
like, what
Freeman.
author? Yeah, what author like has somebody else read it? Yeah, they have Morgan Freeman or Denzel Washington or somebody read it. But like when I started going through the exercises, it just helped me create a better framework for the business. And Tom is an EOS certified implementer, and he goes around to businesses, big, huge businesses, small businesses, and helps you. He's like a coach. He helps you like create that process and that framework for your business to be on. Because like I wanted to go to my team and be like, hey guys, here's the 10-year plan. This is like our stars, what we're going towards. And then here's it broken down for this year. And then here's it broken down month by month for us to get to that. Like I wanted that long-term vision for everybody.
I'm here is our week plan. If that's a good day, I know a week. And so
they talked literally about that, and just like you're supposed to do quarters, but because of everything happening now, you break it down smaller. And yeah, so we did monthly, but then you do have weekly meetings with each team to like talk about the progress of.
You guys make me feel like such a piece of shit because like I never ever plan anything. We never have meetings. We don't do any of that. And it's not like a decision to do that. I look at other shops and people like you guys do stuff. You're like, yeah, I saw fucking Andy, you earlier doing whiteboard fucking drawing about what you got. It's like, no, that would never happen. I bet if I even tried to do that at the shop, people would be like throwing shoes at me and shit and be like, get back to work. Like,
it's fine. They were just playing Hangman or something.
Dude, it's not going to happen. Like,
you need to write a book on no meat.
I'm not. I'm doing EOS.
It'll fucking, dude, it will make you not fall asleep. You'll be so jazzed and hyped when you read my book.
Just the drama, and then now the TV series.
It's going to be all pictures too, because I don't like reading. It's just going to be a flip book of me bashing something against my head. That's what it's going to be.
That's the book cover.
I mean, it makes sense. Like I'm not bashing making plans and all that stuff. It's just like I personally have never been that guy. I've never been in that mode to like sit down, like even a business plan. Like when we started, I never made a business plan. I was just like, oh, we're going to print shirts now. And then we just did it. Like we just do shit every day. Like me as an owner, I go through in my head of like always like systems and way to be organized and like way to do things better and quality and all this other stuff. It's usually just I have notes like on my phone or on my computer of like bullet points of like, these are things I want to try when I have time. And then we try them and then I implement them and we go. Like there's no like get the team together, get their opinions, figure shit out. It's usually just me talking to everybody being like, you think this is a good idea? Mm-hmm. And then they're like, yeah, sure. And then we just do it. Like,
yeah, I didn't have a business plan either. I have a business minor, but and I was taught, I had an accounting teacher and she told me people don't plan to fail. They fail to plan. So I'm like, okay, when I start this thing, I'm going to have this business plan and it's going to be incredible, right? But I started and just nothing. I winged it every single day for probably the first 3 to 5 years or something. Never a plan. But
I just feel like with so many things that like nothing goes to plan. You know what I mean? You can have like outlines and you're like, I want to do this. But like, I feel like if I was to sit down for like 2 weeks and like plan all this shit out, I'd get to like step 3 and everything would have gone to hell. And I've been like, well, fucking, that was a waste of time. Start over, like do this other thing.
That's your fault.
It totally is. I'm not blaming anybody other than myself. To me, it's just like another world. It's like, I couldn't even imagine doing that way.
Right.
I feel like I was like that for such a long time. And then this year, it was like 8 years. And then this year, I was like, there's too many people doing things and like, I felt like things could grow a lot faster and I could have more insight into the future if it was a bit more organized. Because I was doing like that too. And I still do. Like I have my notes on my phone for what I need to get done. But I was like, are these things every single day I'm doing actually making forward progress? Or am I just, like going around and around in a circle? And I feel like after the 3rd month to 6th month or so, I was just... is what I'm doing every day moving the needle, or is it just keeping afloat? I mean, have you ever felt like that, where it's just, you're just like, you look at your tasks, and then I look at the completed tasks, right? Because I make them little check boxes on the notes app on the phone, and I look at the completed, and I was like, these things I was doing, I don't think this really helped move us forward. Like, was the high level stuff I was supposed to be working on? It was like, my day got filled with all the little things, and then the big project I wanted to get to, it's pushed off to the next day and the next day.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like, do a better job of delegating, because I feel like I get stuck in doing a lot of that stuff you just talked about. Like, I want to work on bigger picture stuff, but then I'm in the trenches doing other things, and when I'm doing that, sometimes I'm like, man, why am I doing this? I should be thinking about, working on this other project. And so I know it's my fault,
And I feel like that's kind of where I'm at though, is I feel like we've talked about this a bunch of times, but like everybody who works at my shop is like a master or a manager of their area. And like, I get to the point with something, like say we were doing something new, like fulfillment or something. Like I'm the one who goes in, I learn how to do it. I learn all the programs and everything we're going to use for it, get it going. And then I either hire somebody or take somebody who's already working there. And I'm like, all right, hey, like I want you to do this now. I show them how to do it. And then from then on, I just let them think of their own ways to make it more efficient in their, with themselves. Like, I'll help when I can, but I feel like everybody has their own way of doing things. So I feel like it'd be hard for me to just generalize what everybody should be doing and be like, this is the next step with this. This is the next step with this. When in their mind, they're like, that's dumb. Like, why would I do it that way? So, and I just want to focus on what I want to focus on. Like realistically, I'd like to not have to do emails and have to like do all these other things. I'd rather just do like marketing and like creative stuff and, talking to shops or, finding new processes and new print styles and all that stuff. Like that's what I would love to do every day. Like that's what I'm striving for. And I feel like making plans for other people's jobs. It's like Chris is on vacation this week and I'm doing shipping and receiving when I normally wouldn't have to do that. I'm filling in. And it's like the way I see that he does things, I would never have thought of doing it that way. And his ways are way more efficient than I would have ever thought of doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like letting him get in his own space and figure his own shit out. I feel like it's way you know, it makes you appreciate everybody because it's like they're the master of their area. And I step in acting like I'm the boss and I'm supposed to know more than everybody when I'm the asshole and I don't know shit. I just like started this place. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, one of those things that's interesting. I remember that too, and we have really pushed for replication in roles now. Because like if somebody was out on customer care side, then yeah, I'd be hopping into Zendesk and answering everybody's questions and calling everybody back. And then we had 2 people on customer care. So like if one person was out or not, like then I have that replication because it was to a point where I was like, man, that's terrible. I have to let them, of course, take a vacation or if they want to be gone a week, cool. But a week. For me in that role, I can't do the other sales stuff and marketing stuff and like product stuff that I was working on, like you're talking about. And a week is a lot. Like there's only 52 in a year, so that was huge. So anyway, I guess that I think there was a point where it's like, okay, we need replication in each of these roles to be able to shift people around. And obviously, it's different for the shop, but at least from a high level thought.
No,
that helped me get.
I mean, yeah, that makes total sense. I mean, we think about that too. We're just like people can jump into other spots and take over and stuff. But I think there's also a bonus to it. Like me and Andy talked on like one of our first get-togethers or whatever. Was just kind of like was somebody sick or somebody out or something, and you were cleaning screens, and then you came to the conclusion of like why are we still taping these or why are we still using registration marks and stuff. It's like the same thing with me. Like when Bill was out for Corona and I went in and did screens and all that stuff, I was like, well, he's just an employee. He doesn't have the mindset, or he has the mindset, but I mean, he doesn't have the ability to go be like, oh, we need way more 230s or we need, this to upgrade or this or whatever. And I go in there and I work there for a week and I'm like, shit, this sucks. Let's do it this way. Like not against his way, but like upgrading things and making things easier for him when he comes back. And then he came back and he's like, oh, thanks for doing this. It's just like stupid stuff. Like
that's awesome.
One of the things was just like, I bought like a dirt devil, like a vacuum cleaner for like the shit that falls off the screens on the iImage, or just like buying more screens and having reserves, or like getting rid of some stuff over here that didn't make sense. And it was just like, I feel like as the owner, you step in and you're like, I have the resources and I can tell myself, yes, it's okay to do that. Like I said, with like Chris being gone now, it's like what I went and did like after 2 days of doing it is I went on Amazon and bought like 2 U-boat carts because I was like, we're running low on space. And I was like, now I can take all these boxes for this order, put them on one big cart and then roll them over here. When before he was just like, oh, to him, he's like, Dylan's not going to like be cool with me just asking for more stuff. But I step in and I'm like, oh, this will make this more efficient and stuff. So I hope when he comes back, he's like, oh, that was a good idea. And I just didn't screw up his whole system.
That's literally that reset thing you were talking about, Andy, right? Because it broke everything down, like everything you thought was normal just got erased. It was like the opportunity now, and still happening, to create. We were talking about this the other day on a video. It's just you can create the business that you've wanted to have and create. I mean, you had to let go so many people. So it's like, okay, who do you want to bring back? Maybe what processes did you find? I realized we were spending an unreal amount just on marketing side and like a consulting firm and some other stuff. And, just being in there myself, I mean, we were able to cut it way down and have the same effect, which I was pumped about. But yeah,
I agree. It's a neat effect, I guess. Unpredictable, really effect. Expensive, I suppose, up front, but maybe not in the long run. It's you get it back. I'm not sure. And all that stuff you said just was cool, Dylan, except for the reserve screens. That was my idea. I told you.
Yeah, no, it was.
You were giving credit to somebody else, but I told you to get extra screens.
But he was taking credit.
Oh, yeah, he was taking credit. That's all me, though. The reserve screens.
I don't think so. I think you're lying.
All right,
but what I guess is like your goal for Printavo? Like I know right now it's like shop management software, trying to make things more efficient for shops. So like what's the, your 10-year, like what do you want Printavo to have your hands in?
I mean, I'm super excited to bring modern, cutting edge, like real good technology into what I feel like is a more outdated space. Like I'm at home and I can talk to Alexa to change the temperature and turn off the lights and like do all this crazy stuff from my phone. And, you know, and I feel like at our shops, it's just not the same. Like you don't have that transparency into really how well you're running the business and like how efficient things are, or you know, to be able to communicate and interact in some really neat ways. And that's what I'm super pumped on, is just to keep building that stuff out.
Right.
Because the bar is just, I think it's really low still, you know. And I'm sure you guys have seen it too. Like, we'll be like, man, why is it so difficult? Like, why does it take so long to do this? Or why isn't this automated? Or why can we find a better way? So that's what we're, you know, we've got people that are from really crazy cool companies that came to join that mission. So they're helping that to build that and to scale and maintain it.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
well,
that was the high-level political answer without giving too much of the details away yet.
Well, I feel like it's hard too, because I feel like a lot of the reason why a lot of things don't grow, and it's not just a straightforward process. Like I feel like for you, you're trying to make things streamlined and easy for as many shops as possible, but every shop is totally different. Like, yeah, they're printing shirts, but like they're using different presses, different inks, different types, different niches, different everything. And everybody's got their own artist spin on everything. It's like, you can't please everybody. Like you can't make it exactly the same. It's not like a machine shop where it's like, this is a machine that makes this part. Let's streamline this, make it perfect. It's like, there's so many different ways everybody does everything. It's like, I don't even...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The workflows are crazy unique, especially because everybody does. Not only do they do things differently, but like everybody prints or does other services a little differently.
Yeah.
You may have embroidery, you may have signage, you may do, you know, this here in this building and there in that building. And
yeah.
You may be out of your garage. You may have a, 20,000 square foot shop. So it's, a lot of different levels. That's when you said this power scheduler would be, I'm really interested in, because, you have scheduling for 5 jobs a day or scheduling for 50 jobs a day and all that in between, and so how does that work? So that'd be great to see.
Yeah, it's gonna be sweet. I think the other thing too is there's so many assumptions that we've taken as this is the way things are done, that if you question like, well, why can't it be better? Like, why do we spend, why do shops spend 3 hours a day counting shirts in? Like, why can't accuracy be better, or the way that it detects, quality be better on press, or like, automatically, or like there's a pinhole, okay, and it stops, like, and you don't burn through the whole roundabout, or why can't you, see how well your shop's running from your phone, or, it's just like these things that we just accepted that are kind of fun to be able to question for future improvements.
Well, I am excited for my live shop tour, and it's going to go super smooth.
We're all excited.
Heck yeah!
But and there's this thing where we're going to do. It's kind of like 73 questions. I talked to you a little bit about it, and so here's like a teaser, and I thought I'd ask you a few. And so, are you ready?
Me or Dylan?
Bruce. Oh, this is going to Bruce. I don't care about Dylan and his questions, but
right,
so this is going to you. Ready?
I'll just shut my stuff off. See you.
All right. So first question. First thing you thought of this morning?
Coffee or not?
What did you say?
I said coffee or not.
Yes. What did you eat for breakfast?
I always have yogurt, oatmeal, and this protein shake thing.
Every morning? Same?
Yeah.
That's not distracting, Dylan. And hey, knock that off. If you had a different career, what would it be?
Holy crap. I hope I can be a really good surfer. That would be awesome.
Favorite food?
Pizza.
Least favorite?
Pizza and hamburgers. Oh, least favorite food? Peas or beans, one of the two.
Did you say peas?
Yeah, what's wrong with
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought you said favorite food was peas. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Somebody asks you what your favorite food is, you're like, peas.
We're going to edit that in post so that he says his favorite food is
Yeah.
What's your favorite food? Peas. Well, this guy's a serial killer.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and call the cops.
I put other people's flesh on my face and I eat peas. That's what I felt like.
Call or text.
Text.
That's a younger generation thing, isn't it?
Dude, I text everybody. I always tell people like
It's
business
just so
stuff
quick.
too.
Because you're just doing like 8 things. Yeah.
Sleep or wake up early. Oh, sorry. Sleep in or wake up early.
Wake up early. No brainer.
Cash or credit?
Credit. I don't think I've had cash in my wallet. There's no room in it. It's just so small.
And the last question, what's your favorite podcast?
Yo, don't forget to tune in, everybody, to The Shirt Show.
Yes.
Don't lie. What's your real favorite podcast?
My real one? I listen to How I Built This a lot.
Same. Yeah, it's great.
I think it's so fascinating. Now, granted, they don't go enough into detail, I think, on some things. Like, it's kind of high level. But, like, to learn how Peloton, started, I mean, that's fascinating.
I just listened to Danny Myers. He's Shake Shack guy.
Oh, my gosh.
Story. That was
He's always on CNBC, actually, too, if you like him. He has a larger company that is a huge enterprise catering business for airlines and stuff. But anyway.
All right. Well, Dylan, you are down in Florida where I just was, it looks like.
Yeah, I can teleport.
Perfect attire for it, too.
Mm-hmm. When I teleported, I lost my hand. Oh, shit. There. It's back now. Oh, there's half my body. It's okay. Well, hey, Bruce, thanks for doing this, man. It's good to talk to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even know I was recording at first, so I was thinking in my head, when's it not recording? I looked, I was like, oh, this guy.
We got everything. It's fine.
Sweet. Yeah, no, thank you guys. This has been awesome. I love just chit chatting. This is the part of the trade shows that I miss, is just hanging out.
It's fun for us. Plus, it's fun to just bust on Andy, and he always tells me how I'm an idiot, so it works out pretty good.
Yeah, I think the first actual trade show, is it? Is it Atlantic City's happening or not? I can't remember.
Apparently, Atlantic City is still happening, but I don't.
I Fort Worth is supposed to happen.
When's that?
August something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we I think we're not doing any shows this year. The team's not really feeling it, but I think I may try to go just to meet and greet a couple folks. But I mean, it's middle of Texas though, so that's not a good situation either right now.
What about Long Beach for you?
Holy crap! That's that's the show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would love to have it. We're gonna have so much to showcase at that one this year. And that's the biggest show, I think, for everybody.
I really, really hope it happens.
Yeah, that would be a bummer. But, I mean, California obviously is having a lot of problems. They just rolled back.
Yeah.
I don't think they have school or something on the fall. So, yeah, let's fingers crossed for Long Beach.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
All right. Well, you guys have a good night.
You too. See you.
See you guys. Thank you.
See ya.